Okay, thanks. Hi everyone, my name's Jane from DesignInc, and today I'll be presenting our project, The Academy in East Melbourne. This is a really interesting brief for us because we've done a lot of schools for the VSBA, but they approached us to do a teaching academy for leading school teachers and principals across Victoria. So it was a bit of a flip on our usual brief. The way they described it to us was it was for the best of the best. The Academy was only established in 2021, so they were developing the programs and courses as we were designing the building in a really rapid time frame. The spaces really needed to be adaptable and flexible so that the Academy could grow into the building and develop over time. And they also need to showcase the latest thinking in teaching and learning and technology in space so that teachers using the building could take those lessons back to their schools. This is our site. It was a very special site in the centre of the historic Treasury precinct in East Melbourne. It was a building in the round, and we had a really unique opportunity to create a strong identity for the Academy within this heritage context. This is our existing building in 1853. It was the first government printing office, and it was the first building in the Treasury precinct. We had a really unique opportunity to revitalise the building and celebrate its history as a place of knowledge sharing, which had a really great synergy with the new function of the building as a place of learning. I won't go into all of our design principles, but I think one of the really key ones is the idea of a learning journey and that learning happens at all stages in life, and building a journey with diverse natural connections and experiences. So you'll notice in the design there's a lot of biophilic references. The conceptual framework for our project was a creative journey linking all levels and spaces, symbolising the interconnection between past, present and future. We use the analogy of a tree as a sort of a symbol of a measure as time, and we themed each of the floors of the building to the different layers of the tree. And then we use these to kind of inspire the ideas around each of the levels and also sort of influence the textures and the materiality on each of the floors as well. I think one thing that was really important was about creating lots of rich and varied experiences underpinned with a connection to nature, and ensuring that all of the learning happened not only in the classrooms but in every sort of area of the building and the laneways and the other kind of nooks and crannies. We inserted a new stair into the heritage lightwell, and this was sort of that connector of time and space. You'll notice a lot of circular motifs within the fit out, and these were sort of a reference back to the heritage fabric, the roundels and the arches, but also a recognition of the First Nations affinity with the symbolism of a circle and bringing people together to share knowledge, and also sort of natural elements that occur in the landscape. So I'm going to walk through the building the way that you experience it. So you enter on level 1, which is the present. With the layers of the building, each layer has a very distinct heritage fabric that we responded to. And so on level 1, it's kind of marked by these expressed columns, which really went with that mid-story of the tree analogy. This is our entry. We took a really reductive approach to the entry experience purposefully. We wanted to give the heritage fabric space to breathe, but what you do get is a view through the apertures to the link. And when the greenery takes hold, you'll get a sort of a suggestion of something else happening beyond. The reception area, we have a glowing arch which symbolises a rising sun, which is a new day and therefore the present. The Basto Lounge is our social space, and it's where people come in to start their day, socialise with colleagues, have a coffee. A biophilic joinery edge is designed as a Tetris piece, so elements can be docked into the edge to create an open, flexible space or brought out to provide more group settings. We treated spaces in the heritage fabric as insertions. What you can see here is a sort of a trunk-like form that creates multi-purpose learning spaces behind. Ground floor, the past. The heritage fabric here is really dark and earthy, lots of textures with the blue stone and the brick. The first thing we did on the ground floor was reimagine it as a garden. This building's very inward looking, so we wanted to create that amenity and a space that you could look down and go down to as well. And this is where all our sort of grow plants start before they climb their way up the link. We had this very special dungeon space that was used for storage, and we wanted to create a bit of a destination piece, a place for quiet learning and study, and also where the Academy could display stuff to do with the past and the history of education. Multi-purpose spaces on the ground floor as well, and our signage, you know, with a nod to the history of the building. Upstairs, the future. The heritage fabric up here was a lot different. It was more embellished, a lot of light, a bit more open to the sky on this level. You arrive on the floor with a view into the design thinking lab. This space was designed as a different space to the other teaching spaces. It was a bit more hackable. There was a resilient floor. The idea is that people could come in and display different things that were happening in teaching in this space. Movable whiteboards create different group areas for brainstorming and ideation. We have the greens, another indoor-outdoor space, almost like a greenhouse when you go in, different temperature, providing that different environment and experience that we were talking about. Teaching and learning studios with levels to create different vantage points, large operable walls to divide the space. And this was our sort of large heritage space. The Academy wanted it to do a lot of things. They wanted it to be a function space, but also they wanted to be able to use it during the day for teaching. So we had this whole grapple with scale and how do we really break this space down and make it really usable, but still keep the heritage features. And we were really inspired by theatre design for this space, and we started to think about the whole space as a set piece. So what you can see is we used acoustic curtains, a series of them, to divide the space up into different spaces. Yeah. We had a built edge with garden, which created little nooks on the side of the space, but also could create extra seating in function mode. And then we had this anchor piece, which is a revolving stage. It could be divided into 4 segments for presentation in the round, or joined together, turned its back to the function space for a group space, or it could be flipped around to form a stage. And then this is just showing the space on the opening day. And yeah, just I'd like to acknowledge our contributors and